season, we all talked about how it might take a minute for the Celtics to figure out how to play together again. And yet, for some reason, when the Celtics took a minute to figure out how to play together, well, the takes came early. Did you see that they lost to Orlando? Wait, Kyrie Irving only scored 3 points in a game? That's it. He and Tatum, they just clearly can't exist. Look, Gordon Hayward missed the entire season last year. It's not a surprise he spent the first few games playing like, I don't know, he was in one of those like Freaky Friday movies where he woke up in someone else's body and had to figure out how to use it.
Is that Lindsay Lohan?
It's not a surprise that Kyrie took some games to get back into an offensive rhythm with a team that looked completely different than the one he left last spring. It's not a surprise that Brad Stevens took a few games to feel out what it was like to get to play with all his toys at once. But the smart money knew they'd figure it out. And indeed, last night the Celtics not only reeled off their 4th straight win, they did it by beating the league's last remaining undefeated team. And boy, was it a party at the Garden last night. A bunch of the Red Sox showed up and showed out, parading their World Series trophy across the floor during a first quarter in which Boston held Milwaukee to 16 points. Yes, this is the season of offense in the NBA, and yeah, the Bucks would certainly get theirs later in the game. But the Celtics are still the NBA's best defense, and you could see it last night. As for the Bucks, well, it became apparent they were not particularly interested in defending the 3 last night. Boston launched a franchise record 55 attempts from behind the arc. 55! And they made 24 of them, which was also a record. Marcus Morris alone was 5 of 8 from 3. And afterward, he said, quote, "In the pick and rolls, the big was lagging back. So it was almost like practice shots for me personally. Pretty cool, though." Which sounds cocky, except look at what he is talking about.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not what you want, Milwaukee. Or how about this one? This is what happens when you have slower centers and they either don't switch or they overhelp, and the Celtics had a field day. Now, the Bucks did mount a comeback in the second half, led by Giannis and his 14 points in the 4th quarter. And look, they also got some nice threes from Chris Middleton. But at the end of the game, it was the team that made its free throws that won, and later, Kyrie Irving was, well, let's call it as confident as Morris had been. He was asked when the Celtics, if they spent the game jacking up too many long-range shots, he said, "Never."
Good answer.
Then he added, "Get them up. They're wide open." If they're going to play defense like that, then I don't see why not, end quote. And really, that is the takeaway from last night's game. It's not that Boston won and Milwaukee lost. Look, the Bucks are still going to be a threat this season. The Celtics will still likely go through other rough patches at times. That is how an NBA season works. But in opening few games where a lot of folks were questioning them, and at times they even seem to be questioning themselves, the Celtics clearly now have their swagger, and the rest of the East is on notice.
Who's this guy?